Welcome back to another video, everyone. Now in this video I want to talk about the three main things that I'm going to be focusing on and really trying to nail ahead of 2026 and into 2026 to make sure that I have the best year possible. The sport of triathlon is progressing incredibly quickly, and it's hard work just to keep up with the pace of the improvement in the sport. Not even improving faster than everyone else, just to keep up with the sport is proving to be difficult. So I've got to get my arse back in gear. I've had a few months of just not being the best, and now is the time that I need to knuckle down, get my head back in the game, and make sure that 2026 is going to be a great year. And hopefully some of these things I mentioned could help you guys out as well and think about being the best that you can be for 2026. Now, number one is a very, very important thing, and it's something that I have been on and off with for what feels like forever. And if you're a long-term viewer of the channel, you will know this and probably be pulling your hair out the fact that I'm mentioning this. So I've had some issues in the past with gut issues, stomach issues on race day, in training, and I've gone to various doctors, had various tests, really just chucked a hell of a lot of money at it to uncover some issues. And it's just essentially gut sensitivity, really, which is nothing fancy. I almost went into those tests wanting like a particular answer, like this is what it is, just avoid this. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as that. Certain foods are more sensitive than others, and it's like quantities as well, timing, everything like that. So that is a real big focus for me going into 2026 because it has been a big limiting factor for me. It feels like I've got a good ability in the sport, but this has definitely been a limiting factor, and it's something I really need to just pull my finger out and just do it. So over the next couple of months, I'm sure I'll be posting more content on food shops, what I'm eating, day in the life, stuff like that. It's very important, I think, to find what works well for me. I've gone through different phases of, following different people on Instagram, whether they're in endurance sport or not, and kind of copying their diet a little bit, and it's been degree of success and not success, basically. So really going to unravel what works well for me at what time, and hopefully give you guys some real good information on that. And being a professional triathlete, it's hard enough as it is, but when you're filling your body full of stuff that you probably shouldn't be filling it with, it makes it even worse. And I think focusing on this will aid the next two things that I'm going to chat about. Number two is sleep. Now, although this room is incredibly cozy, I have got into such a bad routine with sleep. Now, part of that is because I paid for Paramount and I've been scranning off Landman, Mobland, Yellowstone, which is terrible because it gets to about 10:30 in the evening. I think I could do one more episode, and then you're in bed at midnight, and it just is terrible. So sleep is super, super important. I obviously don't need to stress that to everyone. They know how important sleep is. For myself, it should be a lot easier to get into a good routine because I don't have commitments like, kids, a wife, girlfriend, a job that I need to get to. So it should is the key word, be easy for me to get into a good routine. However, the last 2 months I've been in a terrible, terrible routine. I've been going to bed super, super late, feeling groggy, not being able to get up at the time that I want to, pressing snooze a million times, which makes me feel like an absolute jacket potato. And it's just not good. I remember watching an interview with Matt Fraser, who is CrossFit multiple world champion, whatever. I don't really understand that kind of stuff, but I mean, he's a pretty big dog. And I remember him saying in an interview that if sleep wasn't a normal thing for human beings to do, then it would be a banned substance in sport. Like, that's how important it is for recovery, for mental state, for everything. It is so, so important, and it's something that I have slacked off massively, and I've definitely felt the the effects of that when I'm getting back into training now and trying to be more consistent. So that's something that I'm not only going to be focusing on this in the short term, but also long term as well, to help me recover and to have the best attitude I possibly can towards training and towards life. Now, the third and final thing is mental state. It's a very difficult topic to talk about, but I think more and more people are catching on to the fact that it's good to talk about it. Back end of this year, I'll be honest, has been the toughest few months of my life mentally. It's been very, very difficult, and I know everyone's going through their own struggles, so it's not something that I really want to talk about and be like, oh yeah, feel sorry for me because I've been, dealing with shit. It's like, well, everyone's dealing with shit as well. So it's something that I think is important to talk about, and I've certainly trying to think of ways that will improve my mental state, my mental capacity. I think you naturally go through waves in life, and definitely the last few months has been incredibly rough, to say the least, for some reason. Because what's crazy is I'm in a really exciting position. I've just bought a house. I'm living the dream in some sense. Like, I'm able to train and race and meet incredible people, but for some reason it's just nothing's been clicking. There's been things in the background like breakup. Today we're having my family dog put down, stuff like that. Just mentally not feeling good enough, I think is one of those things that I struggle with. So what am I doing to combat that? Well, I think throwing yourself back into getting into a routine. So these first two things that I've talked about, I think are really important because that will help with my mental state. The other thing, I'm not a very big reader. I've never really been that into reading. I've more been into someone who watches films and whatever. But I think it's something really important that kind of, it slows you down, makes you appreciate things. And I quite like self-help books. I know maybe it sounds a bit lame and people take the piss at me for that, but so I've read this, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That is a really good book. I'd recommend it to anyone. And then I've recently, like a few hours ago, I just ordered this book from James Allen called As a Man Thinketh. I don't know if that will focus on the phone there. Apparently that's an incredible book. And it's something like the act of reading, I think, like slows me down, makes me consider different things. Reading books like that, I think, is really important. Spending time with, friends and family, but also getting comfortable, like being on your own. I think, like, the last few years, I've been constantly surrounded by people, and then I got very uncomfortable just being on my own the last few months and not really knowing how to kind of approach that and be okay with it. So that's something that I'm going to be focusing on going into 26 as well. And I also want to be more open and honest about it, because I think it's important, definitely. And because I think that people watching this, like if you're watching this and you feel like you're in the same position, then maybe me chatting about it in some sense helps you. I don't really know. And please leave a comment in the comment section below if you've got other book recommendations. I would love to hear them. If you've got other thoughts on the topic, then I really like the idea of helping people in the same position, or just chatting about it, if chatting about it is helpful at all, because it's something that I think going into next year, like I said, is a real big focus for me, just to not only actually be better at the sport and the job in some sense, but just like enjoy life a bit more. So that's going to be a real big focus for me. And like I said, like these are three things that I am mainly like focusing on, but there are so many other areas that I'm going to focus on, of course, to be the best athlete that I possibly can be. But these are, I think, three main takeaways that I would hope could be useful to other people to consider, to think about, and they will be things that I will evolve and that I will continue to talk about and document. Because, like I said, the diet will be interesting to document and talk about, and any changes there that might be helpful to people, that would be great. obviously sleeping is sleeping. I just need to suck it up and get into a good routine with it. And then the mental side of things, the mental capacity and approach to that, I think can be really interesting and important. So I hope this video has been somewhat interesting or helpful or informative. I know it's not a training day video, or it's not a training session video, but I want to kind of get back into the routine, like I said, of doing this content more regularly, being more open and honest with you guys, and I think it's interesting to chat about these things, and if I can help just one person out there with what they're going through, then I would consider it a success. So yeah, appreciate you watching the video, guys, and I will see you in the next one.